It is possible to get your U.S. passport expedited and back to you as fast as possible, but how are you going to do that? Well, first let's walk through the basic ways of getting a U.S. passport, and then we'll cover how you can actually speed up that process.
So how do you get started? First, you have to find the nearest acceptance facility. That's going to be like the post office, the county clerk, the register of deeds. Now, wherever you're going, always make sure you call first to see if you actually need an appointment or not. Now, if you do need an appointment and you get some kind of email confirmation, make sure you bring that information along with you. But it's not just that email confirmation that you're going to need. You're going to actually have the application ready to go. So what you need to do first is go to the U.S. Travel Department website and download Form DS-11 and complete it. Now, if you are renewing your U.S. passport, download DS-82 instead. You're also going to need to collect all the documents that you need to get your U.S. passport, and you need to have photocopies of every document as well. So first off, you need to prove you're a citizen, and you can do that with one of the following. You can either use a previous undamaged passport, you can use your original birth certificate with all the relevant details required on the DS-11, you can use a consular report of birth abroad if you were born outside the United States, or you can use the certificate of naturalization or citizenship. Next, you're going to have to prove your identity, and you can do that with either a driver's license, a passport booker card, you can use a military ID, or again, you can also use your certificate of naturalization or citizenship. So you're also going to need a color photo. Now, there's some very specific requirements for this. It has to be a 2 by 2 inch photo. Your face must be forward, and from chin to crown, your face must take up 1 to 1 3/8 of an inch within that photo. Now, you can't be wearing any glasses or hats unless you have a signed statement about some kind of religious exemption or a verified medical reason for not being able to remove either your hat or your glasses. Now, you must have a plain white or off-white background. You can't have any military green shirts on, and also you can only put it on matte or glossy photo quality paper. Now, of course, you have to make sure you actually pay all the fees as well for your U.S. passport book. That's going to cost you $110 with an additional $35 that goes to the acceptance facility as an execution fee. You'll also see that there's an option for a passport card that only costs $30 as compared to the $110 for the U.S. passport book. But do you really need a passport card? Let's dive into that real quick.
So what is the passport card? Well, if you ask the United States government, they're going to tell you that the passport card is a wallet-sized travel document that can only be used to re-enter the United States at land border crossings and sea ports of entry from Canada, Mexico, places in the Caribbean, and Bermuda. Now, the card provides a less expensive, smaller, and convenient alternative to the passport book for those who travel frequently to these destinations by land or by sea, and the passport card cannot be used for international travel by air. So specifically, this card was designed for people who live near the northern or southern borders of the United States. They either travel frequently for work between the two countries, or they visit family on both sides quite often. Here are reasons you might actually want to get the U.S. passport card. So number one is that you don't actually plan on flying anywhere internationally. If you are going to be getting on a plane and going to another country, yes, you need your passport book, but if you're just driving to Canada or driving to Mexico or taking a cruise down to Bermuda, you're only going to need a U.S. passport card in that case. Number two is that you only plan on traveling between North America, the Caribbean, and Bermuda. You can't go any farther than that with the U.S. passport card, but if you don't plan on it, then why spend the extra money on the U.S. passport book? Number three is that the U.S. passport card can be used as an extra form of ID. So let's say you are going traveling, you're flying to another country, you have your passport book, you might want to get that U.S. passport card and spend that extra $30 just to have that extra form of ID. Let's say you lose your passport on the road, it's going to be a lot easier to get another one if you already have your U.S. passport card on you. Number five is that it's super compact and it really easily fits in your wallet. Now, if you're going to be traveling with a U.S. passport book, you can see how this does not fit in a wallet. It's hardly going to fit in your pocket. It's not very discreet. It's very obvious when you're walking around with it, and it's not something you'd want to lose or drop or anything like that. So having something that's a little bit more secure in that U.S. passport card might be a good idea.
Now, whether you actually need the passport card or not, you're going to have to pay when you apply no matter what. So if you're applying at one of the acceptance facilities, you're going to need a check or money order made out to the U.S. Department of State. If you're applying at a passport agency, you can use check, money order, credit card, or even cash there as well. And if you're outside of the US and applying for your passport, well, then just check with the consulate or embassy that you're applying at for their fee structures. Now, if you have everything ready, you have all your documents, you have all your photocopies, you have your money all ready, the last thing you need to do is just go to your appointment, and if all is well, you should expect your US passport in 8 to 11 weeks.
So that 8 to 11 weeks is a little bit too long to wait, and you just need some basic expedited services. What can you do? You just got to grease a few wheels. Now, you can go to the acceptance facility with your DS11 and do this, or if you're renewing, you should send in your DS82, use USPS Priority Mail Express, and clearly mark on the outside of the envelope the word expedite. Either way, all you have to do is include an extra $60 to automatically knock down that 8 to 11 week processing time to 5 to 7 weeks. And if you want to have your passport book delivered to you as quickly as possible, you should include an extra $17.56 in your payment, and that will give you the 1 to 2 day delivery option. Even with all that, that's still not the fastest way to get your US passport. There are some super fast services, and what you're going to have to do is either make an appointment with a passport agency or center, and you can find these listed on the State Department website. Now, for these super fast expedited services, they're only going to permit 2 types of appointments, and you need to have a good excuse to use these. The first way is dealing with a matter of life or death. This is the fastest way you can get a passport. However, it's not guaranteed that you're even going to get your passport in time, because this is often for travel that's within 72 hours or 3 business days. Now, even to qualify for a life or death emergency appointment like this, you have to present one of the following. Either your immediate family member is outside of the United States and he or she has died, or is dying and is currently in hospice care, or has a life-threatening injury or illness, and you actually need to prove that there's a life or death emergency. So this could either be with a death certificate, a statement from a mortuary, a letter from the hospital, and these either have to be in English or they have to be professionally translated. Moreover, you're also going to have to show that you already have your itinerary or plane ticket purchased and ready to go. Now, if you want to go through this process, you must make an appointment. And if you're going to do that, you have to call them. And what number you call actually depends on the day and time that you call them. So let's go through that. If you're going to call them on Mondays through Fridays from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Time, you should call 1-877-487-2778 or 1-888-874-7793. If you're going to be calling outside of those times, either on the weekends or outside of that 8 to 8 o'clock window on Monday to Friday, then you need to call a different number, and that's going to be 202-647-4000. Another way to get a U.S. passport when you don't have a life or death emergency is to use their urgent travel option. Now, if you're traveling within 72 hours or 3 business days, there are very limited appointments for using the urgent travel option. This is more for people who have travel coming up within about 2 to 4 weeks. You again have to make an appointment, but the rules are a little different than if you're calling to make a life or death appointment. So the rule here is that you can make an appointment using the urgent travel service if you're traveling within 2 weeks or need a foreign visa within 4 weeks, but you cannot make the appointment for more than 3 business days before your travel, or 10 days if you are actually requiring the visa. So either way, you still might be cutting it a little bit close, and it might be a little stressful. If you want to use this service, the phone number is a little different. You can call 1-877-487-2778 or 1-888-874-7793, and you can call them from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Time, Mondays through Fridays. You cannot call for an urgent travel service anytime on weekends or outside of those operating hours. This video right here is going to show you how to get a passport for a child, but don't be afraid to check out these videos if you don't have kids.